And then Jim Klinker, whatever you want to do here. We're live on YouTube.
Hi, Randy. Can you guys hear me?
Gotcha, Johnny.
Okay.
No, we can't hear you, Jim. Why don't you try *6 on your phone?
Okay, there you go.
There we go.
Thank you.
Gotcha. Sure.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'm sitting here talking to myself. It was working before, now it's not. So now, okay, good. I'm on now?
Yes, you are.
Okay, so this is the regular meeting of the Public Health and Safety Committee. It is Tuesday, September 15th, 2020 at 6:04 p.m. We'll do a roll call here. Klinker present. Stevo?
Here.
Carr?
He was here in just a, oh, she's here, but she's muted. *6, Candace? There we go.
Here. I'm here.
Okay. Fahrenwald?
Here.
Okay. Hill?
Here.
Johnson? No Dex? Will Cazares?
Here.
Okay. And we have Chief Arzab. Is Chief Rita here also?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Anybody else, Randy, that I should know about?
Allan Stevo's in the room.
Yeah, I got him.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. But yeah, that's it. There's 9 people total, including myself.
Okay. So Alderman Johnson's the only one that's not here from the committee, right?
No, he's not here yet, no.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Usually I'm on Zoom, but I have no internet service, so I'm doing this on my phone up here at the chamber. So, okay. So that's the roll call. Number 3 on the list is approval of July 2020 minutes. I sent those out, I don't know, a while ago. I think right after the last meeting, because I know Alderman Stevo didn't get a copy of them. So did everyone get a chance to look at them? And can we get a motion to approve?
Yes.
Motion.
I'll
Okay.
second.
Who made the motion?
William. Or I don't know, whoever.
Cazares? Okay. All right, motion by Cazares, second by Carr. Any questions?
On a question.
Go ahead.
Yes, Alderman Klinker. On page 3, new business, discussion of concerns regarding Waterfall Park at Chatham and Fulton.
Yes.
I made a statement that I asked for Water Reclamation District to install cameras to deter crime at the Waterfall Park. That's under
I didn't
that
put the camera.
column.
Okay, I can't pull that up now because I'm on my phone doing this. I didn't have cameras in there, Al. I thought I put that in there. If not, I'll add it, okay?
And thank you. And under LexisNexis, I asked if City Attorney Horvath reviewed the contract, what was his opinion, and Chief Arzab said, yes, he did review the contract.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll make those changes. Anybody else have anything? Hang on, bear with me, I'm writing, okay? Okay, we're gonna do a roll call. So I'll be an aye. Al, Stevo?
Aye.
Carr?
Aye. Aye.
Fahrenwald?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Johnson's not here. Cazares?
Sorry, aye.
Okay, all right, that's good. So those passed. Now we'll move on to the August minutes. I sent those also a while ago. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Alderman Hill.
Okay, second by anyone?
I'll second.
Motion by Hill, second by Carr. Any questions? Okay, if no questions, we'll do a roll call on that one too. Klinker, aye. Stevo,
Aye.
Carr,
Aye.
Fahrenwald,
Aye.
Hill,
Aye.
and Cazares.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. All right. Moving on to public comment. I had no public comment to me by 5 o'clock today. So we'll go to fire department business. Chief Dan, you're up.
All right. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hopefully, you all got the your packet. We'll start off with the normal report. So, emergency call responses for the month of August 2020 broken down as follows: 322 EMS responses, 177 fire responses, of which 23 were auto aid to the respective departments listed on your packet. 7 to Elsip, 4 to Calumet Park, 10 to Riverdale, and 2 to Robbins. 0 mutual aid responses. Monies collected from medical reimbursement, which is EMS billing, for the month of August resulted in $31,708.62. That is also attached as the first, it should be your first handout in the packet as well. That brings our year-to-date total to $299,576.59. That's up a little bit from last year's numbers at this time. Fire recovery for the month of August, we collected $3,840.09, bringing that year-to-date total to $17,961.01. 0 false alarm fees collected in July, and that remains at $700 for that as well. Calls of interest for the month of August, structure fire on August 7th in Riverdale, myself and engine 2113 went. Same on the following week, both Fridays afternoon, 13814 Wentworth and another assist to Riverdale. August 23rd, the scrapyard on 135th and Western, that was a Sunday morning. Large pile of junk over there started on fire. We were there for a little while pointing that out. We had a cooking fire on 825 that could have been worse, but thankfully it was not. So that was at 12406 Maple. 830, that was 13050 South Woodland apartment building fire. That is under investigation. That I gave you guys the incident summary on that one. That's still under investigation. So that was an early Sunday morning incident there as well. Then we had a fire, which again could have been worse and thankfully wasn't, but at 12535 Greenwood, on August 31st. That was a pile of construction debris and got the rear porches going in some fence and some of the garage. Certainly if the wind was out of a different direction and we didn't get there as quickly as we did, it could have been a lot worse. But those were calls of interest for August. On page 2, just general information. Again, continuing on with the COVID-19 task force as we have since March, in communication with the elected officials. Truck 2114 is still out of service. I did get a text late this evening that they're hoping to hopefully have it back tomorrow. As they were bringing it back, I think I reported last month, but they were bringing it back and the rear torque rods snapped on it again. So they're fixing that and they are hopefully going to have that back this week. 2113 was out of service for a few days due to another electrical issue. They chased that down. And I believe that hopefully is rectified and we're good to go. Marine 2 still awaiting parts. We did get one of the parts, the float switch for it. So that should hopefully, if we get the other piece, we should be good to go with that and get that all set for the rest of this year. Fire prevention, Lieutenant Olson completed 2 plan reviews, training hours, and they should have that handout as well. That should be number 3. Broken down respectively for each individual, but our training hours for the month of July totaled 358 3/4. Again, our operational plan is on hold until the tower later comes back into service. And then under EMS, we continue to respond and prepare for COVID-19 responses. I did present the estimated cost of upgrading 2 ALS to both the Public Health and Safety Committee as well as the Finance Committee. And I am currently still looking for an EMS coordinator, although we may have had somebody step up today to take that role. So that's the report. I have also included in there, as is customary, the overtime report That should be number 4 in the packet for August. It's broken down with the cover sheet with the total breakdown, and then the detailed sheets are subsequently behind those. And then the 7G is in there as well. Not much 7G going on in the month of August as well. So that concludes the report.
All right, anybody have questions for the chief on his monthly report?
This is Alderman Carr. I have a question. Chief, as far as the COVID-19 task force goes, has there been any discussion about resuming regular city council meetings?
As far as there has been, Alderman. Some of it's related to how much is going to be allowed inside. I know we can certainly bring it up again and discuss it tomorrow at tomorrow's meeting if you'd like. That's not a problem.
Could I kind of add on to that? I think Alderman Carr's question is a great one. I would urge us to move back to in-person meetings as soon as we can, and even if and the size of the crowd has to be somehow restricted, but it's difficult to do this without public participation.
And the input I'll give it on that one. I'm sorry, Jim, if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
That the mayor said he was going to follow the court schedule and their lead, and I agree though that we can do a hybrid of some sort where we can still do Zoom in the chamber so people can still participate if we hit that 50 number where we can't allow more than that in the room.
That makes sense.
But we can discuss it certainly tomorrow at the task force.
Okay. Any other questions for the chief on his report? All right, we'll go to old business. Chief sent out an email earlier today. I think you said he wanted this under old business, right, Chief?
Yes, sir.
With the ALS upgrades, you want to go ahead
Correct.
and discuss that, or fill us in what you got going there?
Okay, so I've sat with the executive board from the union, as I mentioned that I would. They have some questions, as I think everybody knew they would. I think that really to get this ball rolling, we have to have a commitment that this is what the city wants to do going forward. The monies, I'm going to get you as close to what I think, and that's what's on that second sheet. There certainly is going to be, and that's why I have some question marks, and we'll go over some of this stuff tonight, but there's definitely going to be some variables in there. So I'm trying to present as close to what I think it's going to cost us going forward, but without knowing some of the other intangibles and what the city's going to be looking for, what the city's going to commit, it leaves some of the things open. So I know in the past, some of the discussions we've had, the belief is we just flip the switch and we go, and that's what we're doing. Obviously, I'm here to educate everybody and bring everybody up to speed, but there's so much more when you're going from a BLS to ALS that's involved. And again, I'm trying to give you guys as close of the picture as I can. So if you look at that spreadsheet that I sent late this afternoon, the options that I have on there are broken down respectively with the costs associated with them. And again, some of this I've gone through with Topeka, some I have not. I did include her in this, so she had a chance to look at it. I didn't get a chance to talk to her today. I left her a message, but did not get a return phone call before I left. I'm sorry.
I'm not sure I'm looking at the right sheet here. You sent it out this afternoon, right?
Yes, sir.
All I'm seeing on what I opened is one page. Am I missing something or?
No, it's just the three. It should be a spread 3 options. Is that it?
Okay. Yep. That's it.
Okay.
Got it.
So this is I think it gives everybody a snapshot of where we're going to be cost wise, depending on how we go about doing it. Again, like I said, some of this stuff, I think that once the city declares and we decide to go, I would imagine have to negotiate with we will have to negotiate with the union to decide where we're going to go from there. It opens a lot of other avenues up for us. So this being said, these are the 3 breakdowns respectively on the money. We talked about the stipends before. That's again a rough estimate of $5,000. That was just $5,000 per medic. The reason why I have 12 on there on 2 of them under option 1 and 3 would be that obviously if we hire the 3 other guys that we have you know, we're going to have to obviously include them in the 9 that we currently have. So that's what that number is. Now, the medic school, they raised the price on that. It was, I believe, the last time I reported 5,500. I just talked to South Sub the other day. They raised it to 5,700 a person. And then the overtime on the 4,600 hours in option 2 and 3, that's broken down based on the contact hours, the hours that that basically the medics are to get your medic license. I talked to them. That's what they said that would be the hours. That would be a good number to put down. I averaged our total for the year to date, the average rate. Now, obviously, that's going to fluctuate depending on who goes to school. But I took the average rate of our overtime, as you guys see on our monthly report, and multiplied it times that 4,600 hours. That's where you get the total number for that. So again, that may be, it may be off a little bit, but that's based on, like I said, those numbers there. So that's what you're looking at in regards to that. Trying to see what else. The silver spanner, again, we talked about that. That's going to be, again, that was based on, I think, $25 or $23.55 an hour times 3 guys for the duration of a year. So we can't go much beyond that. That's going to be basically a rentum, and that's not a guarantee that we're getting that covered every single day either. So again, that's a ballpark of where we would be. That's all hours accounted for 3 individuals for a course of a year, and that's if $23.55 gets them in the door. Other places have done $25 an hour. Other places have done obviously higher than that. So the most recent and the most or the closest proximity to us is Payless, and they were at $25 an hour. So that gives you guys kind of an idea of where we're at cost wise with that. That being said, again, and I know when we're talking about hiring people, that's probably not the most optimal idea, at least in some people's mind right now, considering the situation that we're in. But what I'll give you guys an idea to think about is that the hiring of 3 guys gives us a little more flexibility, and it definitely guarantees us the ability to get 2 ambulances out with 4 people. So we'd have to obviously change a few things, but operationally that gives us a little bit more flexibility. It gives us a dedicated engine company and gives us 2 dedicated ambulances most days, if not all days, depending on how things are, transpire going forward. So that's the breakdown. I did also, and I didn't get a chance to put it into a spreadsheet form, but I did talk to our billing company, and I got a rough estimate of what our increase. So this will give you guys hopefully a little bit of other stuff to ponder and maybe feel a little bit better about. But based on if we upgrade, and certainly obviously we've talked about this as well, we'd have to change our fee structure and whatnot based on that. But if we upgrade to ALS, and we were going off of a neighboring community, Midlothians, what they were collecting per ALS call was $327.33. If you multiply that times our 2,785 EMS calls from last year, that's projected out at $911,614.05 in billing. That's an increase of $474,393. I'm sorry, yeah, $474,393.12 over what we're currently doing. So again, I'm not going to say that we're going to, hit that number exact, but that's, again, giving you guys an idea of where we could be at. So that's roughly just under, like I said, $1 million. That does not include the GMT, which mostly Topeka's gotten that spreadsheet filled out, and we're getting ready to submit that by the end of the month. That could, again, projected wise, an additional $100,000 plus. So we're looking at maybe $1 million to $1.1 million that we're able to bring in as a result of 2 programs, obviously the upgrade to ALS and then the GMT program. So this should help offset some of the costs that we're looking at here. Again, that I think is a bonus. The equipment, as we've talked about, and this is my concern right now, is that that's one of the reasons why I'm saying we have to make a decision, is that the equipment, we have to spend that money by December. So that totaled, I believe, almost $200,000, which I brought to the committee before. That's all taken care of. So in essence, we're getting that paid for. Our increase in billing should offset some of the costs of the manpower that we're looking at, both if we were to move forward with hiring more people, and then obviously if we were looking at raises and some other stuff. that we're talking about here. So questions about any of that stuff?
If I got a couple.
Go ahead, Bill.
Thanks, Jim. Just so I'm clear on options 1, 2, and 3, what period of are these numbers, the bottom line numbers, are they being spent over an equally long period of time, or are they different?
This is a 1-year snapshot, all of it. So options 2 and 3, if we're going to be sending more people to school, you can figure on medic school and the overtime being spread out over 2 or 3 years if we were to continue to go down that road and get everybody up to speed. The reason I put in the hiring the 3 and keeping the stipends at 9 is because at least the quick fix, because there's also the backside of this that we have to tie in with civil service. If we test again, which we're almost at the point of testing again, I could then change the civil service rules to change it to, instead of EMT, to paramedic. Anybody that we lose going forward is always going to be backfilled by a paramedic because it's in there as such. So that gives us a little bit of flexibility that way. Again, that's kind of why it's imperative that we start making decisions now. So because we're down to the last 2 guys on our list. The next guy that is up, we just sent a letter to, I believe he's taking it. I'm not sure about the last, but I tentatively have a date set in November for the next entrance exam. I would like to have that civil service stuff changed to reflect that for our next exam if we do decide to move forward, if the city's desire is to go to full ALS. So that way we're covered.
All right, so like an option 2, total expenditure 434, that's in a year, right?
Correct.
Were you saying that could potentially be stretched out over a longer time? Or?
No, that's going to be that. If we go that route, that's what it's going to cost for us for 1 year.
And then one last question on the option 1 overtime, and maybe I missed it. I mean, are we talking 100, 200, 300, 200 on option 1?
Well, you broke up a little bit, Alderman. Was it? I didn't quite hear. I heard, is that going to be?
On option number 1, the overtime is a question mark. Is it any kind of a ballpark idea? I mean,
well,
50.
We're spending on average, I think is probably just a little over $100,000. I would say that's probably going to be indicative of what we would spend going forward on that. Some of it results, and again, this is where I said that there's a lot of obviously intertwined things here. The contract, some of the things I would look for, or that we would discuss with the union, is that, again, based on our medics, we can't have a certain amount of medics off a day. So there's going to be a lot of language that has to change in the contract as well, that might be able to, to at least keep it where it's at, and maybe drop it a little bit. Again, the variables there are time off, injuries, things of that nature, people leaving. If we don't, that's why if we go this route and we get it changed in the civil service, like I said, the backfilling is we lose people through attrition or retirement or whatever, we're always backfilling to get there. And it's going to be, it's still a cost certainly, but it's going to be the least amount over a period of time that we're going to incur. So, and then that, again, like I said, that's why I wanted to show you guys with the increase of revenue, where there's some options to be able to offset that.
Okay, thank you.
So, Chief, I got a couple questions for you. So if you're looking at hiring 3 additional medics off this potential new list, that would bring you to 12, correct?
12 total. Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Total.
So,
yes.
so to staff 2 ambulances, that would be 4 guys working each shift. So anytime anyone's on vacation, Kelly, whatever, you plan on bringing a medic back in overtime? Is that the plan?
No, because we can run one. We can run one.
Okay.
No, we can run one and one. Jim. So,
yeah.
No, we can run one. Right. So that's what I'm saying. It gives us a little bit of flexibility there, because that way we know the next 3 are definitely medics. Anybody leaving after that date, we're good. Now again, I would still like to put, certainly the younger guys, or even the guys that have been there for a while and aren't going anywhere, I'd like to give them the opportunity down the road to be able to do it as well. But at least initially, to get things rolling, I think that's, and we can certainly reevaluate and see where we're at. I mean, certainly if the city's in a better position financially, if our revenues are more, as far as that is, and we can reinvest that money into the guys as far as updating their skills, then we can certainly do that. But that would, we could run 1 and 1. That's what I'm saying, allowing for time off and everything else. That's where all that factors in.
Okay. Yeah, that just completely skipped my mind. You mentioned that before. I apologize for that.
No, that's okay.
So in your opinion, Which of these options do you think is the best for the department? Is that putting you on the spot? If it is, I'll give you my opinion.
But to me, the best as far as the bang for the buck, I mean, is option 1 or 3, because again, it gives us flexibility. Now, 3 we could certainly spread out to year 2 to send guys to medic school and do all of that. I think option 1, and we're going to have to, again, is sit down with the union and negotiate with what, they're going to want something out of this deal, because again, it's changing their work conditions, which I think everybody understands. That I think this gives us a little bit of flexibility. It gives us at least initially a pretty good start to where we need to be. It gives me the opportunity to, like I said, change those civil service rules and regs and be able to test. And then as we start, if guys start leaving at the bottom there, then we can at least turn them over and they're medics. So it gives us a little bit of leeway. It gives you guys an opportunity to see what we're doing as far as the collection wise as well, in a shorter period of time too. So because we're getting that moving rather quickly.
Yeah. So here's my point of view on this is that, I mean, we're going to commit to this. I think everyone's on board with that. We just need to figure out what's going to work for us. By looking at this, the option 3 appears to be, in my opinion, appears to be the best, because they're going to hire 3 more, which is going to give you more medics. And we're also going to send more to school. So we're one step closer to getting to that number of 20 or whatever it is that you want total medics by the time we're done, phasing this in over the next couple of years. That's
right.
My opinion. I don't know where everyone else is with this. And I definitely think that you should probably move forward with the Civil Service Board and changing that so that, we suggested that a couple of tests ago, and because we didn't have medics, it didn't go anywhere. But, making a requirement, paramedic license in order to be able to take the test. So that's my opinion is option 3 is the best. I don't know if anyone else on the committee has an opinion or wants to say any more.
No.
I just say, because I'm way less knowledgeable than you two gentlemen are in these issues. And the discussion that we're having sounds reasonable. And I trust both Jim and Dan that, I'd be glad to follow your lead on this unless something comes up that makes it seem like it's not a good idea. And particularly the fact that it sounds like, and maybe it might take a year or more for this to come to be, but it sounds like we can cover a lot of these costs to additional revenue over time. And I'm sure I would imagine that initially that won't be the case. The first year I would think would be kind of, we'd be out some money. Building towards a better department and better services and something that I guess wouldn't cost us that much.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. I forgot that part too. I mean, you're looking at, he's talking about the CARES Act covering the cost of equipment, and then the increase in revenue, if we increase to an ALS rate, is basically going to cover this. Like you said, it might not happen the first year, but it's going to over a period of time.
And the overtime, at least for this year, and I believe some of the costs, depending on how quickly, now obviously we're up against the timeline here, but if we get it, say November or December, that time for our guys in that period of time is covered as well, because it's under the CARES Act as well. So that's something to think about as well.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have any more comments, questions?
No, that's it.
Okay. So I'm not quite sure if I can make a motion or just get a consensus here to pass this on to Finance Committee to get this ball rolling, because he's going to need to get people applying for paramedic school very soon. Is everyone okay with option 3?
Yes.
Yes.
Just to make a recommendation to the Finance Committee that we move ahead with option 3 ASAP?
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, I would say provided that, something, I mean, we should be open to if something comes up that makes 2 or 1 look better, but yes, I mean, at this point, it sounds good to me.
I will send that off to Kevin tomorrow. I will also send it to the mayor, and I'll also let Topeka know too that's what we're looking at. Because we do need to get this ball rolling, and Chief needs to figure out who's going to go to school and when they need to apply, because this is already mid-September. So is everyone okay with that?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Any more on that subject before we move on? Okay. New business.
None.
Chief, you got any?
I still had something under old, if that's okay.
Sure. Go ahead.
We talked about, and I see that under Alderman's concerns and questions that Alderman Stevo is going to bring up. I just, some of this again, and I know right now, obviously we're talking about manpower, but you've heard me say it a couple times, obviously throughout the last year or so with vehicle replacement. But if there's something that we can look at as far as maybe that being set aside as well, because like I said, that ladder truck is about done. The engines are getting older. Our ambulance we've put almost 10,000 miles on our newest ambulance in the last year. Those are all going to be costs going forward that we have to look at as well. So it's just food for thought. Again, I know obviously that's a lot I'm throwing on everybody's plate right now to look at, but I think that's stuff that we actually have to, again, plan for too, because that's going to be another major cost that we're coming up with.
Yeah, you know what? I'll also do that. I'll put that in the form of a letter too from our committee to finance and also to the mayor and to Pika, because I know she's involved in this now too, that we really need to figure out a plan on how we're going to do this stuff moving forward, start budgeting for things. I know we talked about a capital improvement plan in the past. You talked about, Chief, and really we can talk about this every month and not do anything, and it does us absolutely no good. So I'm just going to try and get everyone on the same page and see what we can do to move forward with some of those things that that Mr. Stevo has listed there, because it everything is, like you said, it wasn't that long ago that I left, and I know the condition of some of that equipment, and I couldn't agree with you more.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
All right. Anybody else have anything else? And Dan, you had no new business, you said?
No, that was it.
Okay. So we'll go on to police department business. Chief Arzak.
Yes, good evening, everybody.
Hello.
So I have, for those, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So those that are going to follow along with the monthly report, like I do every month, I will skip the stuff that have not changed from the previous month to make this go a little bit quicker. So on page 1, administrative updates, item B, we swore in another full-time officer on September 8th, Albert Rezick, and he reported to the Macon County Academy this past Sunday, and he should be graduating December 22nd, as long as everything goes as planned. So with that being said, item C, as far as our staffing levels from our previous month, we were at 33 and we are now at 34. Going down to item E, I attended the South Suburban Chiefs meeting on August 27th, which is a monthly meeting. Item F, myself, along with the fire chief, attended a meeting at the alternative care facility, which is the former Metro South Hospital, on August 31st. They have advised us that they're still on standby with no indication of acceptance of patients anytime in the near future. We do also have a tabletop exercise for Code Red, Code Silver, and evacuation plans scheduled for September 28th, which the police and fire departments will be attending. On the bottom of the page number 1 is the monthly reporting, A, B, C, and D. You will see as the attachments at the end of the report. The clerical totals for the revenue for August was $70,062.51 for the month of August. Going to page 2, calls for service, there were 3,270 incidents recorded in August. 1,475 were calls for service. 1,544 were self-initiated. We recovered 10 firearms, and we deployed 2 FZOs for the month of August. There were 91.5 hours of training for August. The overtime on the bottom of page 2, the total after reimbursement is $10,162.97. Page number 3, department projects, those are all pretty much the same as last month. The bottom of page 3 for the patrol fleet, we did have to decommission one of our 2013 squad cars, blown engine, so it's not worth putting the money into it to get it back up and running. Page 4, are the totals for case assignments, the cases of interest, the 2 cases of interest. You guys already know about those 2 from my previous emails, so we don't have to go through those. And on the rest of page 5, under miscellaneous, we issued 1,148 parking tickets for vehicles not displaying a valid city sticker, and 743 parking tickets for overnight parking violations in the month of August. Item B under miscellaneous, it's also probably, I guess we can also consider that as new business, because this is actually fresh, that just came to my attention this past Monday. This involves a grant that we applied for. It's called the STEP grant. And I was just advised via email this past Monday that we were awarded the grant, which is from the Illinois Department of Transportation for Sustained Traffic Enforcement Program for the fiscal year 2021. It actually begins this year on October 1st, and it goes through September 30th of next year. This program will cover the cost to hire back full-time officers for 580 hours of overtime to conduct targeted traffic enforcement of occupant safety, which is seatbelt and child restraints, impaired driving, speeding, and distracted driving laws, such as being on your cell phone and texting. The grant agreement must be accepted by the agency before October 1st in order to qualify, because the speed enforcement portion must begin at that time. We've been a part of this STEP grant in the past. It's been several years since we've applied for it, but we have been a participant of it in the past through the Illinois Department of Transportation. So this really isn't anything new. But I don't know if the time restraints is because of everything going on with COVID and everything like that. But I would hope with your guys' approval, if we can have this go to finance on Monday, I will draft a motion for approval through finance. This is also 100% reimbursable. And I think we're getting about $37,000 worth of money to go to this grant for this enforcement. If it's approved from you guys this evening, I would like it to go to finance, if that's possible, on Monday. And then we can have it on City Council's agenda for Tuesday. And I also sent the agreement over to the city attorney for his review. Like I said, we've had this one in the past, so it's something that he's already familiar with. And I will also make sure that finance gets a copy of that agreement as well. So well, what do you guys think about that?
Sounds fantastic. So what?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah,
Do we
so-
make a
go ahead.
motion? No, sorry, do
Yeah,
we
I'll
make
make
a motion to send this out?
Yeah, Will makes the motion
Yes.
to send it to finance. Second by anyone?
Alderman Hill, second.
Bill, any questions?
I do just want to get clarification on the 580 hours of overtime. I guess I don't understand the math of it, I guess. It seems like for $37,000 we get more than 580 hours, or maybe I'm not understanding it. Can you just kind of explain how that works?
Well, it all depends on what the hourly rate per officer is, because they're all different. And this 580 hours and the amount that we were awarded is stretched out all the way till September 30th of next year. So every month, according to how the program is set up, every month there's certain amount of hours that we will post for officers to sign up for, and there's certain criteria, like we'll work on speeding first, and then we'll do the distracted driving, and then every month we send in a report for our overtime for that month, and then we get reimbursed from the grant that month for that amount that we've paid out for.
And so
And then we just keep doing this every month until the grant is completed
October.
before
All right.
September 30th of next year.
Okay,
I don't know if that answers your question or not.
but just so I get it, in other words, 80 hours to divide that just by 12 months, that's roughly 48 hours a month. So is that kind of what we're talking about? Just so I get a sense.
Yeah, it all depends on what type of enforcement we're doing that month, because some of them may require more hours than others. It just depends on which enforcement we're doing. But yes, it is spread out within that whole 12-month period.
All right, thank you. I got it.
Yep.
Any other questions on the STEP grant to send it to finance? If not, roll call. Klinker, aye. Stevo?
Aye.
Carr?
Aye.
Fahrenwald?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
And Cazares?
Aye.
Okay, that motion passes. All right, Chief.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And then the only other thing left in that packet is you will see the email that I did receive on Monday. Well, you'll see the four attachments for all of the numbers for the month, and then you'll see the email that I received on Monday congratulating us for that grant. And then right after that, I did, just for your reference, so you guys can take a look at it. I know and this is part of the old business, I guess. I know Alderman Cazares had suggested to put out some social media information in reference to ATVs and dirt bikes and things like that. So I did attach some things that we're putting out on social media in reference to that, if you guys want to take a look at that. And then the last page, I know that Alderman Cazares also suggested for some signage for MWRD, for the public parks being open, and I also put in there for a suggested overnight parking sign. I went over to Public Safety Direct and asked them to give us some signage examples that we could possibly use, which is the last page of this packet. If you guys want to take a look at those and see if you guys are interested in the overnight parking signs somewhere around the city of Blue Island, wherever you would want to put them, I would suggest at the very least to put if we're going to go with a sign like this or similar to it, I would at least suggest the signs be at the main entrances into the city of Blue Island. For example, 139 in Western, 127 in Kedzie, 119th in Western, wherever there's a main thoroughfare into the city of Blue Island. So that's a suggestion. And then the notices for the public parks open, we can probably use those in any parks that we really want to, just to show the enforcement and what the violation is and the penalty. So that's on the last page for you guys to take a look at to see if you guys are interested in any of that stuff in the near future.
Yeah, thank you. I just actually Will forwarded that to me the other day. I was going to ask about that. So, and I've never done this as far as signage goes. Is there a committee that would go through, or is that a municipal services? A municipal or maybe judiciary?
Judiciary, probably.
Judiciary, probably?
I mean,
Well, we could send it to both. Go ahead, Candace.
Yeah, this is Alderman Carr. There's already city ordinances in place for overnight parking. I don't think we need to go to judiciary.
Okay.
So I think it would either go to community development or municipal services if you wanted to decide, where we were going to put them.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. So how about this? How about if I just send it to both of those committees and try to get that part of this moving along? I got a little more on some of the other stuff, but is everyone agreeable with that? Like Candace said, it's already an ordinance. We're just putting up signs about it, which is helpful.
Yeah, because I know we've got to vote on that tonight also. Yeah.
Okay, I will forward that off to community development and municipal services and try and get that ball moving. While we're on the subject of that MWRD property down there, I have sent 2 emails after our last 2 meetings. I sent them to both community development, municipal services, the mayor, the clerk. I sent them to Alderman Bellato, since it's his ward, and also to Will, because Will's the one kind of driving this, and Mark Miller. I've gotten a few replies as far as what's going on down there. I asked for everything that we asked for that was mentioned in the minutes, along with the camera that Mr. Stevo mentioned. I got a couple responses. Candace responded from Municipal Services that it's on the pickup list for the Public Works guys, but they only get there once a week because they don't have enough people to get there. Fred's looking to move some garbage cans down there once they get new ones along Western Avenue. So hopefully with more garbage cans, we'll have less garbage. Randy sent me a copy of the lease and a map of everything that's going on down there. And Fred also checked with Jim Polstrol, and Jim's looking at the lights and see what we could do to replace some lights that are out. So that's what I've gotten. I've gotten nothing from Mark Miller or the mayor. I will once again tomorrow send that off along with our recommendation that we move forward with these signs, and just once again try and get this going. Okay, everyone all right with that?
Sounds good.
Yes. Yep.
All right.
I have a question for Chief Arzab. Question for Chief Alderman Stevo here. Chief, with the Blind Police Department body cameras, has anyone looked into the CARES Act for funding for the body cameras?
No, we haven't, because that would have to be COVID related. So I don't know where we would come up with the connection to it to be able to get that.
And to your knowledge, no other departments in the area tried to use that vehicle for body cameras?
To use what for body cameras?
To your knowledge, no other departments in the area has tried to get body cameras through the CARES Act?
No, I have not looked into it. I'm not aware of anybody doing that.
All right. I have one more question. Do you have any kind of explanation at the alternative care facility? There was an alarm on for 19 hours, almost 2 weeks ago. Any knowledge about what happened with that?
No, I'm not aware of it. No.
Well,
I mean, they should have 24-hour security there.
Right, they do, but the security didn't know how to shut it off. We need to have a number to someone if there's an emergency there, who we can contact to correct the problem. We need to get a phone number for somebody.
Okay, yeah, I will touch base with security, and they would have to contact somebody, whoever they would contact to fix the alarm, or.
Yeah,
but I'll make sure I have some type of conversation with their security to make sure that they're handling it.
All right, because we had a problem. Go ahead, Chief Rita.
I was going to say, was it a fire alarm or a?
It was a
alarm?
loud screeching alarm for the gate, and it lasted
Oh.
over 19 hours. But there was nobody to call. Security didn't know how to handle the problem, how to shut it off. And finally, someone came and shut it off.
Well, they should have building. I mean, we've been over there, as Chief Arzab alluded to. We've been over there a couple of times, and they have the facilities management team. They're in there. They have like she said, 24/7 security. There's a command center set up there, so that's odd. Okay.
Right. We need some kind of phone number to call to, make sure it doesn't happen again, or if it does, who to call. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else for the chief? Police chief, I'm sorry.
Chief, thanks for putting those flyers together. Appreciate it. And going through putting together the signage through that company. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Not a problem. And also Alderman Klinker, you don't know by chance if for sure you're going to have a finance meeting next Monday. And the only reason why I'm asking is because the STEP grant would have to be approved by the city council meeting on Tuesday, or else we will lose the opportunity for it because we have to have it approved before October 1st. Do you know by chance, or?
As far as I know, we're having a meeting. We meet every Monday. I know there have been a couple of them that have been canceled, which I'm not sure why, but as far as I know, we're having a meeting on Monday. I usually get the agenda on Friday, but
Okay.
I will get the word out to Alderman Donahue tomorrow morning so that we can, put that on there, and you can go ahead and email him the stuff that you got too, okay?
Yes, absolutely. Sounds good. Thank you.
Sure, no problem.
I think it probably is possible agenda to do it in advance.
Bill, you're cutting out.
I'm
Bill,
sorry.
you're cutting out really bad.
Oh, how am I doing now? Any better?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, maybe I'm far away. You probably know if the finance committee is not going to meet for some reason on Monday, you could put it on city council agenda still, and we could consider it if we had to. You just have to make sure you do it before the deadline for city council.
Okay. I'll talk to Kevin and make sure it's gonna happen. If not, I'll let Marisol know, okay?
Okay.
All right. Anything else for the chief or any new business, chief?
No, sir.
Okay, so we'll move on to Alderman concerns and comments. These are things that, you know, like I said, I've been sending out emails to everyone a week or so before the deadline to get the agenda posted. So these are issues that different aldermen asked to be put on the agenda. So Alderman Carr, you wanted something said about the Metro South gazebo and the homeless people?
Yes, Chief Arzeb, do we have a plan in place to deal with the homeless people that spend the night there and sleep in the gazebo?
It's my understanding that that's property owned by whoever owns the hospital. Is that correct? Still? So that's private property?
I think you're right.
Okay.
You're correct.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we really don't have any jurisdiction, but, you know, when we do have officers that observe them in there, we will do our best to shoo them away. But other than that, you know, it's private property, so.
I will agree with Alderman Carr that it's becoming a bigger and bigger problem over there. It seems like it's a growing number of people. And they're, from what I've heard, kind of Facebook stuff, that they're getting to be a little aggressive.
They're belligerent.
Belligerent is the word. And should we, I mean, so do we need to, does the city need to get in touch with Metro South and ask, you know, I'm sorry, whoever that is now, and ask that they please, you know, make a complaint and give our police the authority to get in there? Would that be what we need, Chief?
Well, yes, or if the city can make them come up with some type of a solution for it, because I mean we don't want to get into a situation where we would have to, you know, arrest these people for trespass or anything like that. You know, I think that would be a little bit of an extreme.
Okay. All right. Well, then what can we? I mean, I guess we need to try to approach the owners and talk to them about the situation and try to work. So,
or even if the city can suggest to the person, to the people that own it, to maybe take the gazebo down. Does it need to even be there?
I was thinking that might be necessary.
Yeah.
And because I listen to these meetings all the time, I know that community development, there was discussion about the city acquiring that piece of property too. So hopefully in the long term it'll be ours and we can do what we would in any public way.
Well, so then what's the mechanism then for the city to get in touch with the owner to talk about this? Is this, I mean,
Hi, Bill. This is Alderman Cazares. I think right now, as Randy suggested, was informing us that I think we're having a bit of a difficulty communicating with that particular person or people. That's why this is moving so slowly. So if I can make a suggestion, is like to create some type of just enforcement or just some patrolling regulations or just anything we can do within our legalities in that area.
So
whether it's
Chief,
just patrolling. Go ahead, Candace.
Chief, let me ask you, if the owner of the property made a complaint that people were trespassing, would we then have the authority to move them out of there?
Well, there would be a couple different options. You know, they would have to, you know, if they say, yeah, we want them off, you know, we can have them escorted off of the property, or you know, if they're willing to sign a complaint and appear in court, which I'm sure that's probably going to be one of the least options that they would want to do. There would be a couple different options if they did step up and say something about it.
Yeah, it does sound like maybe the path of least, well, I don't know, whatever, but a simple solution would be to remove the gazebo, as much as I hate to have to do that. It would make it less.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So we need to contact the owner and ask him to please do that. How can that be done? Do we have any communication with the owner? Do we have any lines?
Well, right now, I think
I'll try to find some contact information and try to reach out
Okay.
and go from there.
I believe there's a conversation between the owners and community development regarding the parking lots and their property.
Right.
So if we wanted to, we can address that particular situation in those negotiations, if that's even a possibility at this current state.
Okay.
Maybe Olsensburg could, as I understand, talk with the owner, and maybe they could bring us to a finish and say this is just something we need to have taken care of.
Okay.
Because Bill, obviously, no one wants to see that gazebo go down. But if we have a little bit more information as to how long this process is going to take, I would probably suggest waiting on that, especially if it's within the what's left of the fall season. Because come winter, that gazebo is not going to be used a lot. So I would hate to tear it down during that time. But if we do have some type of inkling that we would be claiming ownership of that park and gazebo before next spring, I would suggest just leaving it alone for now, because although it gets misused. Sorry, it gets misused a lot. It actually also gets used a lot by the community. So I would hate for it to go down.
Okay, why don't we, and in order to move us along, because we got another committee in a few minutes.
Oh.
Chief, if you want to try and make contact with someone and see what we can do to kind of make this situation a little better between that and what community development's working on, maybe next month we can just get an update and go from there. Does that work?
Yes, that's fine.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So we're in Alderman's concerns. I'm sorry. Okay, so Zach, we're good with the gazebo. Then there we have three things that Mr. Stevo wanted: acquisition of 2 new ambulances, acquisition of a new aerial truck, and a discussion of the cannabis ordinance. You want to go ahead, Mr. Stevo?
Yes, thank you, Alderman Klinker. We've heard over the last year and the last few months from Chief Reed how important it is to have good equipment, how important it is to have new ambulances and an aerial fire truck. Getting ready for the appropriations, my intention to bring this to the committee agenda is to be fair to Finance Committee, giving them time to plan for these acquisitions. And our residents deserve this upgrade, and I welcome any and all discussions on it.
I'll just say I agree more. We've got to address this problem. The fire department equipment is just aging out, and we're up against it. And yes, it needs to be dealt with. And it's a different. But I also understand it's not an easy question because we're tight on funds. But something has got to be done. So I would.
I was looking for have a motion and moving on to the Finance Committee to have them work on it.
We talked about this earlier. I'm already sending them a letter, just tell them that we need these stuff replaced. So, I mean, I don't know if you want to make a motion and do this, we can do it that way, but either way, they're going to get notified along with the mayor and along with Topeka too, that we feel that this stuff needs to be purchased. So I don't know if you want to make a motion in a second, we can do it that way, or we can just do it via email, which I'll also CC the committee on.
I'd like to have a motion.
Okay, go ahead, make your motion.
Does someone want to make it, or else I'll make it?
You go ahead, Ed.
You can make it.
Okay, I move that we pass this on to the Finance Committee for their study and for the appropriation ordinance, and to buy 2 new ambulances, ALS ambulances, and a new aerial fire truck.
Right.
Alderman Hill, second.
All right, hang on. Motion by Stevo, second by Hill. Any questions? Roll call. Aye. Stevo.
Aye. Aye.
Candace Carr.
Aye.
Fahrenwald.
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
And Cazares.
Aye.
Okay. And we'll move on to the next one, which is a discussion of the cannabis ordinance. Go ahead, Mr. Stevo.
I was going to ask Chief Zab, Chief, can you tell us how our community might change when we have dispensaries in our community?
I have no idea. It's, time will tell. I'm not familiar with, other towns that have them already and what they're experiencing. It's something that I have not been able to dive into, unfortunately, yet. So I really can't give you an honest answer on how it will look. I mean, I know that if we, the rules and regulations through the state and the feds, I mean, they're pretty tight knit on, what they have to do in order to have that type of a business, and the restrictions and, security and all that kind of stuff, to make those, buildings safe and a friendly environment for the community. So I know, for someone to have that type of a business, I know they're going to have a lot of specific rules and regulations that they have to abide by. And I'm sure that those were put in place for them to be in communities and for communities to continue to be safe, to have them in there. But other than that, I really don't have an opinion right now on what the effect may be if and when we do have any of those in our community.
All right. Thank you very much. I would just like to say that I'm neither for it nor against it. And I know that a lot of residents would like to have it go to a referendum. And that's why I'm ending my discussion tonight. Thank you very much.
Are there any other Alderman comments? If not, how about a motion to adjourn?
Motion aye by Alderman Hill.
Hill, motion, second.
Alderman Carr.
Second by Alderman Carr. It's roll call. Me, I'm an aye. Stevo?
Aye.
Candace Carr?
Aye.
Fahrenwald?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
I'm sorry, Cazares?
Aye.
Okay, so the meeting is adjourned at 7:03 p.m. Our next meeting is October 20th, 2020, either on Zoom or in person, depending on what happens by then. Okay, thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.
Have a good night.